Hi, I'm Siddhartha Hazra, and today we would be starting off with a low level design course all in itself, that too everything for free. This gets you a little bit excited, so let's talk a bit more about this. So, here the content of this video would be that I would be first answering you what this course is all about and why the hell this course exists in spite of so many other resources out there. And then I would answer who am I, okay, which many of you don't know as of now. And then in the due course, you would be knowing me and getting to know, and we would, after a period of time, I think so, with my storytelling and all, you would enjoy this course itself. Then we would be talking about the course outline, what is the syllabus of this course, what we would be discussing and all. Okay, so what this course is all about. Okay, so this course is a low level design course for everyone. Okay, because not just a person who is preparing for a software development role, it is also for a person who wishes to go in this role, that is software engineering. Okay, and it is also for a person who has newly joined, is in his first or second year of engineering. He is doing a lot of procedural programming and he doesn't have that much, like which design pattern to be used. He is working in a startup which has a legacy code. It doesn't really have an object oriented code in itself, but he wishes to know, he wishes to learn it. Or if you have joined an industry which uses the low level design principles, which uses the low level design patterns, and you wish to know it, then this is the course for you. So basically this course caters everyone except the person who already knows this. Okay, let's move forward to the very next thing, that is my prime focus over here, that this course is not just for interviews. Okay, in perspective of interviews, I would say my students have cracked this, my students have cracked that. Not to brag, my students have cracked much better than me. They are in a much better position than me. They have their different goals, I have my different goals, but this course is to educate, but not to just prepare for interviews. If you're looking for a course which specifically just tells you what are the important things that are there in the low level design that is needed for just interviews, I think you should have a subset of this. You should watch a subset of this, not the entire course. This entire course is to educate why the low level design exists in the first place, then what are the different design patterns we have, and what design pattern solves what, and then the case studies. Okay, then the very next thing, what is this course all about is what, why in everything. Like everyone out there is just telling you this needs to be done, what is there, this needs to be done. I would be telling you why we are doing that. We would talk about it more when we would be moving forward. Now the very next thing is, so that is everything for free. As of now, this course, the entire course of low level design is free, and I have no plans to commercialize this course at least. I can promise you that this course as of now would be free in my channel. I from top to the bottom, the complete course would be free. Okay, not a subset of this would be in YouTube, subset of that would be in Udemy or some other platforms, not that. Okay, then the very next thing is why? Why did I make out this course out there? Okay, so back in those days, when Google introduced a low level design round in its interviews, I was a person who was a DSA centric person. I started learning low level design. Okay, then what happened was I couldn't find a good resource. And yes, I won't be taking names, I won't be judging each one of them. But everyone is just trying to mug up for just interviews. And if you're learning low level design, so called the most important aspect of implementation in software engineering, in a subset kind of thing, then a good grasp is not taken off. Like, except like if you talk about the case studies that you have already discussed, that's fine. A case study that is around that case study that you have discussed, that is also fine. But when you get a new case study, when the interviewer tells you that how would you build up this thing out there, what is your personal coding style out there, no one is telling you that. How to inculcate that in your real life? Okay, so I didn't find any good enough resources. So I started reading out textbooks. I followed multiple resources to understand a particular thing. So my aim to this course is that I have a centralized position where everything is there for free and it is well understood by even a beginner. And like, I don't want to see a DB connection code like for a person who is just learning how to be a low level design. Okay, and a very small problem I would say is, like, I saw many people teaching up a topic known as singleton design pattern. Then I found out that they are showing DB connections and all, and not even telling you that this is DB connection, which kind of DB they are using. Why to complicate it that much? Every code I found there in anyone's explanation, it has complex code. And to understand design patterns, we don't really need complex code to understand it. Low level design patterns is all about the elemental implementation, and I want to just simplify it. Then the very next thing is, as I told, there was an increase in demand and I started learning it. In the same manner, in today's scenario, talking about 2024 July, low level design is a must have if you want to crack multiple companies. So there is an increase in demand. Okay, so that is why I too want to revise my concepts as well as to have an impact out there in the society. Then the very next thing that are byproducts of these all are that I want to be known by someone. It's not just I do my job, die and go away. I want to be known. That's everyone's perspective, and I'm just being honest. Okay, now the very next thing is, whenever I see a design pattern, I see no one talking about why this design pattern exists in the first place. I know people talk about what problem does it solve and how it solves it, but why it exists in the first place? If we don't have the design pattern, what would happen? So I never saw anyone talking about all this. So I took the responsibility that this educate people is another aspect of this course. As I told, this is not just for interviews, this is just to showcase your skills, showcase your implementation strategy, showcase your style in coding, showcase your so-called jazba in coding, by showing off that yes, this is how I would be doing that to have an extensible thing. Then who am I? Who the heck am I? A person who thinks that he is worthy enough to educate person. So I'm not a person who cracked a job, then he saw a lot of fan followings out there, then he started following that yes, everyone out there is making course, so I should be making course and making my name too. No, it's just not. Back in those days when I was preparing for companies, I had an opportunity to teach at Geeks for Geeks. That was my very first opportunity. What happened was I posted in my LinkedIn that I have gained out of this. What happened? A person from Geeks for Geeks, I would still take the name because I owe him a lot. That is Amit Baghel. He told me that, do you want to be a person who would teach at Geeks for Geeks? Geeks for Geeks had a big brand name, has a big brand name as of now in 2024. So I started teaching it. Even before I was a software engineer, even before I contributed my first code out there in a public repository. Okay. And I was teaching DSA, so don't judge me that how could he teach even before contributing to something. So I was teaching DSA as a first profession. Then the very next thing is, gradually I started liking it. Teaching was a thing, is a thing that is kind of very easy on me because my father is a retired teacher and my mother is still a teacher as of now in 2024. So as of now I still love teaching, I still love interacting. When I'm as an SD, Monday to Friday I'm an SD, I keep my heads down. I talk a little less. I have my earphones from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, on weekends I teach a lot. Nowadays I'm coming back home and doing videos and all. So I'm liking this life. Okay, like I'm enjoying this dual character of mine. Now talking about my experience, who am I as a teacher? For the last 3 years, I have been associated with big names like Unacademy, Code Chef, Geeks for Geeks, and my majority of my duration of my teaching was, or as of now is, in Geeks for Geeks. I joined there as a freelancer, got converted to intern, then I took up an SD and still continuing this as a freelancing thing. So for the last 3 years, I have been teaching. What I have taught in Geeks for Geeks, I have taught multiple batches of competitive programming. I have my system design course as of now at Geeks for Geeks itself. Then I was a professor at Chitkara University, a seasonal professor at Chitkara University. Been to multiple colleges like IIT Roorkee, even for an offline workshop and all. BITS Pilani, Goa. And talking about how much do I know the industry? To be honest, I know. I know big faces in the industry. I have worked with Striver itself on a public platform. Striver is a known person and Striver knows me by my name. Fingers crossed. Okay, even person like Nishant Shahar, I know him publicly as well as personally. Moving forward, Faraz, I did a stream with him. I don't really know if he still remembers me or not because we didn't talk after the session and we didn't talk much. Then Rachit Jan, I also had interacted him a lot. Then there are many co-workers of me who are influencers out there. There are many students of me who are also influencers out there. So I know the industry a bit. So I might be a good fit for you. Now the very next thing, why me? Because I have been teaching for the last 3 years as of now. I know what means to be a plan. I know how to execute it. I know that I won't face any problems out there in executing this because the last 3 months I have been doing it for someone else. Now I'm doing it for myself. If I got good responses, I would accelerate this. If I get no responses at all, I would still do my job. Okay, so no worries, I would keep moving. Then the very next thing which you would be most excited about is Siddharth Hazra, पढ़ाओगे क्या? बहुत बकबक हो गया. Let's start off. So the very first video of this would be an introduction, which is this. And next, from the next video itself, we would be moving to what is software development life cycle, what is object-oriented design, and what is the difference between procedural programming and object-oriented programming. Then the UML, there are different types of UML diagrams that is needed, but we would be doing a subset of it that is interview focused because UML diagrams are just a way to showcase it, and apart from use case diagram, class diagram and all, that much is not needed to understand. Okay, UML diagram is just a way to explain the stakeholders, explain to your senior software engineers what you intend to do. So I don't think a broad knowledge of UML diagram is that much needed in the first place. Yes, absolutely, to gain mastery over it, you need it, but I would be doing this over interview focus. Then we would be moving forward to something known as solid principle, why it exists in the first place, and what do you mean by solid principles? We would be starting off with single responsibility, then we would be catering the O, L, I and D. Then we would be moving forward to the very next video is what is design pattern, what is design pattern, and what are the different types of design pattern, why design pattern exists in the first place. Then we would be starting off with the different types of design pattern. First, we would be catering about the creational design pattern, that is abstract, prototype, builder, singleton, constructor, factory. So this would be a kind of Bible. I wish to make it as a Bible of low-level design patterns. Okay, most of the structural design patterns like proxy, flyweight, composite, bridge, adapter, facade, I would be catering it, all of that. Then we would be moving forward to all the behavioral design patterns like command, iterator, observer, visitor, all of the design pattern that is made, we would have a separate video on all the design patterns. Talking about the design pattern specifically because it has the most number of videos, and that would, I think so, fingers crossed, I think so, that would come out as a uniqueness of mine is that first the flow to learn each design pattern would be that I would be first showing you a code that does not uses that design pattern and what are the different problems in that, and what how we can solve that how we can solve those problems using a particular design pattern. After that only I would introduce you to the design pattern and then use the same design pattern to solve this code, and then we would talk about the problems it has solved and the pros and the cons of that. So this would be the design patterns video. Moving forward to that, after I've completed all the design patterns, there would be around 30, more than 30 to around 30 to 35 videos that would be existing out there. Then each video I release would be of a use then each video I release would be of a case study where I would be taking different case studies out there which are most asked in the industry. Then we would be solving it together. We would be drawing out the requirements. What are the requirements that you should know? What are the requirements that you should ask? Then we would be moving forward to the UML diagram. Then we would be moving forward with the different algorithms that needs to be inculcated on top of that. Then the probable questions that the interviewer might ask, and then we would be moving forward to the final implementation of the particular case study. And then as the thing progresses, my plan with that would be like you can close the video if you like, but still I will be talking about the plan of this, so because so that I can document this, to be honest. So the plan with this course is that after the case studies I would keep discussing case studies, then I would start learning about the different questions that are asked in low level design. Then I would be conducting mock interviews around low level design. Then I would be taking up some projects which uses low level design. Then moving forward to that, we would be catering everything about low level design, and gradually my goal is to move towards high level design and make this as a one-stop destination for system design. I know people out there in HLD, that is high level design, are doing much great. I want to create an impact over the low level design as of now on July 2024, and this is how I am documenting my goal. Now let's see if this works or not. Fingers crossed. I don't know how this would turn out, but still, if I make it at least a little bit of, like, if I gain subscribers, this would prove to be a flashback video. So without any further ado, meet you on the next video. Thank you everyone.